Thank you, Tatiana. Wouldn't 230 make it so they can be sued for libel too? Yeah, so it depends on how 230 works. So how 230 is implemented. But yeah, so Section 230 of the Communication Decency Act, the idea, just for those of you who haven't heard it before, really, really quickly, the idea is that you can choose as a business to be a platform, right, or a publisher. So if you're like a publisher, like let's say you're Time Magazine or New York Times. New York Times is liable for stuff that's printed. So if they say, Carrie Smith eats babies and killed 14 people yesterday, and blah, blah, like that's just all a libel. It's not true. It makes her look bad. It's defamatory. She can sue them and be like, "What evidence do you have?" And if they're like, "Well, Chris Cuomo told me," that's not evidence, right? So they could get sued for defamation. So they have those standards to live by. But when the internet started to come along, people were starting to have platforms where they would just kind of let anyone publish. Think of the old discussion forums or billboard services. Anyone could publish stuff. And the person running the platform was like, well, I don't want to be liable for... I can't be liable for what people say on this. I don't want to police that. And that's recognized in the law that, like, yes, you don't have to be liable. However, then there was an extra step, and they said, well... but I need to be able to do some simple moderation. Like if people are threatening each other physically or posting child porn or porn generally, I need to be able to have rules that are kind of objective that I enforce on my forums. And so Section 230 says, yes, you are allowed to have these objective rules that you enforce on your forums. So you can do a little bit of moderation and still get classified as a platform rather than a publisher. So you're still not liable for the content, but your moderation has to be within these particular rules. The argument people are making for platforms like YouTube and Facebook and Twitter is that they're abusing their Section 230 privileges because their rules aren't actually objective, and they're using those quote moderation rules. They're having rules that are based on ill-defined and intentionally vague terminology, and they're applying them selectively only to the people that they want to boot off of their platform, and therefore they're actually acting like publishers, not as platforms, and they should be liable. So that's the whole story about what Section, from a high level, what Section 230 is and why people are arguing about it. And Susan does not want this argument for Section 230 to continue because there's going to be a come to Jesus moment for YouTube. If it continues the way people want, there'll be a moment where someone has to say to YouTube, either cut this crap out and stop censoring these people, or you're going to start being liable for everything that everyone says on your platform. And at that point, you're down to make up videos, right?